Pleasure Seekers, jamming with the boys. Can I put this away now and make that not give me a copyright infringement? Thank you. So yeah, I'm reading the manual for the G5. This is reading the Topping G5. Topping doesn't make portables. So this is a first. This is a world first. So with that in mind, I'm gonna give them some leeway, because Topping has sort of shit on everyone else in the audio industry that makes amps. And pretty much DACs. Like, can I just please introduce you to the fucking A90D? Like, the A90 came out, destroyed the whole THX revolution, and it's like, oh, set it back, certainly. And then, like, they waited a couple years, and they came out with, like, oh, it's just the A90D. It's like, what is that? Oh, my fucking God. And I got the LA90 sitting here, which is a speaker amp, which I use for headphones, too, because Topping, just like Bruce Willis from Armageddon, doesn't know how to fail. But flaws, G5, their first portable. It is a DAC amp with Bluetooth. So those are the three things. Actually, yeah, and it's a full amp. You could input it line in. You have a USB in, which I'm using now off my phone instead of off a computer for no reason. And then you can Bluetooth to it, which I'll do in a second. And I could tell you this much. It sounds fucking phenomenal, because it uses the same sort of design. I forget what NCPA, PCP, NFCA architecture into a portable package, and it comes in silver or black. Big shout out to APOS for sending this out in silver. Thank you. As much as I don't like just silver and black are the only place we live, unless you get the nice wood, I'd rather have silver than black. I'd rather have red or blue, or when we get to the, I got the little tone 2 back there, it's in like a nice deep blue, like her hair. Actually, I should have saved this for her hair. Anyway, no, because this wallpaper represents something else about this. It's flawed. You think it should be best girl, but it misses some things. But not in sound. In sound, we put back on the Pleasure Seekers, the system, which apparently was in the Real Genius OST, and I didn't remember it from there. We're currently on medium gain. Well, let's take a tour of the unit. Let's pause that, unplug this. Should I keep wearing these are, by the way, the Klipsch headphones that no one bought because they didn't give them to me. This is before Klipsch and I were like this. If Klipsch would have given me these back in the Dizzy, I would have fucking all over them. Because these were going for like $1,400 to $1,100, and these are just for the build alone. These HP3s are just what the fucking precise measurements, and oh my God, the back, and okay. Ignoring headphones for a second. Well, on the triple in cable. Zeos, link this triple in cable. If I could collab on a cable with Linsol, it would be basically triple and just put my name on this. I'm a better connectors on that because I snapped those. The back of the unit is it's not even a faux leather, because it doesn't feel like leather. It's like rubbery. So it's like a leather patterned gray rubber. I'm assuming on the black one, it's a black pad and not a gray pad. It's not terrible. It's designed, in case you haven't figured out, this is a portable unit. And if you're going to use it USB, because you have tour of the unit, or do I keep talking about things? See, I never know where I'm going to go. The reason the back is soft is so you can put it against your phone and not damage your phone. However, they also give you the silicone pad if you wanted to slap that between it. I love the sound of a slapping silicone pad to give even more cushion. I guess this is the right side, has the high-res audio laser engravings, so you can't take those off with your basic information here. The other side is nothing but a QR code that takes you probably to fucking Goatsy. I don't know. Be fucking hilarious if like a professional piece of audio equipment was like, because no one's going to scan that QR code. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to do it. It's just Goatsy. Bottom has two USB-Cs on the opposite ends. One that says charge, one that says DAC, and you have two little switches, low, medium, high, and Bluetooth, USB, and auxiliary. That's it. The top has a 4.4 Pentakine output, a 3.5 output, and a 3.5 input, and then you have a knob. There's it's clicking off, clicking on. You raise and lower the volume here. It's pretty easy to get to regardless of these. They call them something stupid on the thing, like, oh, guards, protection, anti-fuck-up things. The front has this black strip, and I'm going to take the camera off my head to see if I can get it, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but you can see inside of it, but like you can see the circuitry, but fucking barely. And then you have these two LEDs, power and connectivity, or whatever the hell the mode is, and they kind of illuminate. Like if I hold this right against the camera, like just there, that's what they illuminate. They illuminate like one side of one chip. I don't know if that's a DAC chip or whatever, but if you're gonna give me a window, like I'm not a fan of like RGB, although look at that nice RGB light strip down there. But either make the window clear so I can see through it, or light it up. It's LEDs. We'll talk about battery life in a second, because the battery life in this is varied. I'm just gonna say varied based on the input and the settings you use. So did you notice? So that's it. That's it. What are we missing, everybody? What is my major complaint going to be about this unit? Compared to, let's say, this stack of units. We've got the Griffin, we've got my absolutely adored SG-1 Pegasus, we've got the BTR-7, and we've got the little Quidelics. What are these four Bluetooth DAC amps have that this one doesn't? Now, assuming we're using this in USB mode, it's fine. If we're using it in auxiliary input mode, it's fine. But I'm going to use it, and I think most people, and please raise your hand in the comments, are going to use this for a Bluetooth. You're going to slap your shit into this, and you're going to connect your phone, or whatever. You could use a BTA-30, you could maybe wandering on your house with it. There's no buttons to control next track, last track, play, pause. And that's a requirement. In fact, the Griffin was the greatest thing ever, but it didn't have those options. So if you go watch my review of the Griffin, as much as I love this thing and its X space and X space and all the options and the thing and the IE match and fucking more switches and buttons and knobs and outputs and presence, it didn't have a way to change tracks. And they fucking added it in a firmware update, which uses, I think, the double pressing the push button here to change tracks. And I'm like, oh, okay, now it's perfect. Now it's officially a perfect fucking unit. But before that, it was like, holy shit, how did you fuck up this bad? The problem with topping is there's no buttons to add a functionality. That's it. If you're getting this for Bluetooth use, you can't change tracks or pause or play with it. Now, that said, again, this is Topping's first portable, so they'll learn. But it's also a chonky mofo. Like, look at, like, this is a size, is it about the size of my phone? A little bit. My phone's got a real tall screen, so we'll give it that. It's got weight to it. The way I think that you're probably going to use this is probably fine to not have buttons, because you're going to slide this into your special custom-made leather pouch that goes on your leg like an ammo belt in a movie. You're going to set your volume and your gain. You're going to connect to it with your phone, and then you're never going to touch this again. You're just going to walk around with your fucking rare headphones plugged into your leg, and you're going to do all your thing. And maybe you have to adjust the volume manually, or you do it on the phone digitally, and then you're fine. Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have the buttons if you're going to control it via your phone. You're always going to have your phone in your hands, and that's fine. So if we eliminate that error of them not putting it on there, and by the way, in desperation, I was like, oh, this is a glass panel. Change tracks. Pause. Why can't I'm waiting for someone to do that, to make like a part of the unit. Next track, next track. Fucking Sony headphones can do it on the side. So that means if you could do that, then you should do, this is a perfect example of where it should be. Could you imagine if this was a touch sensitive screen? Hey, Topping, this is advice for free. You want to put my little logo on it or something and give me like 3%? That's fine. But just like little, like swipe up for next track, swipe up for next track, double tap for pause. That's all you'd take, and then swipe down for last track. Oh, okay. So now that the dreams are gone, we should probably go back to talking about it. With USB, and I'm using this is not the cable it comes with. These are the cables it comes with. You get a fucking ridiculously thick little baby stubby bastard, which I believe they intend for charging it or for hooking it up to like a laptop. And then you get a USB-C to USB-C straight and a USB-C to USB-C 90 degrees. No Apple, what's the hell, Lightning. So fuck Apple is what they're saying. And then you got a little auxiliary cable, a little tiny thing for bouncing. I could actually use the auxiliary out because my phone has a headphone out. Did you know my phone has a headphone out? And no, I didn't buy that for it. So we plug into the in. We set it to aux. Lights blink. Pleasure Seekers is playing. Put you back in. So now we're preamping, amping into an amp with an amp. I don't think people would go this route most of the time because unless you, and yes, I know LG Quad DACs, blah, 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 V4s, whatever, have the best DACs. I don't care. Most people aren't going to do this. What I was doing earlier is not sending it from my phone. Ignore my phone for a bit until we got the Bluetooth. What I was doing is this. I've got a Geshelli DAC, a secret Geshelli DAC. Shh, you can't know about it yet. But I've got a Geshelli DAC, which is hooked up to it's a whole thing back there. But that means I could play my FLAC music through a high quality DAC and then put it in here. And now I'm testing just the amplification of this. Because when you're testing with a DAC or with Bluetooth, you're judging the codec and the DAC, or the DAC and then the amp on top of it. So this is the most direct line to like, how's the amp in the G5? And I could tell you how the amp in the G5 is. It's a fucking topping. Fucking Saint Etienne Chemical Brothers rocking these headphones. 1.2 watts per channel on high gain. Count to 6 and die. Marilyn Manson, like that clicking. Put that down for it. Put it down. We need to talk more about it. Let's talk about battery life for a second because I need to bring that up because it's a kind of an important thing because where is it? It's in one of these charts. Okay, so on the most you can get out of it is using an auxiliary like I have it right now. On lower medium gain, 25 hours. That's amazing. And for the chunk that it is, that's about appropriate for what I would expect. If you go Bluetooth, low and medium, 25 hours on medium low, 13 hours on high gain on auxiliary. So it literally cuts the time in half. I'm not on high. I haven't had to use it on high. I'm imagining something like if you need the full 1.2 watts, you're driving some stupid headphones out and about, but cutting your battery literally in half. That's auxiliary. On Bluetooth, which is the way I think most people are going to use this, low and medium, 10 hours, high, 8 hours. Now, I wasn't very good in math, but that's a 20% reduction in battery life, even though, like, it's the same thing. So 10 hours low, medium, 8 hours high, which isn't that bad, honestly. I mean, 8 hours on a high gain with this thing fine. And then here's where it gets weird. On USB, 9 hours on low and medium, and only 6.5 hours on high. So you could have it as long as 25 hours operation, or as low as 6.5 if you're using it high gain on USB. So the USB uses the most power, even though the Bluetooth has an antenna that's using less power, and aux uses the least power. So you're basically deciding on your life. It says 4,000 milliamp hour with a charge time of 5 hours from dead. So that's decent. I probably should read some other things while I'm here. It uses, I love the wording of this. It's at the very, very top. It uses a ESS chip. I like Sabre. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh no, AKG or die, bro. ESS is fine. But the terminology they use for the DAC chip, which is, where is it? Built-in high-def Bluetooth, protective leather case. Here, it uses the ES9068AS. And they call it sub-flagship. The sub-flagship DAC. And I just want to put that into your brain hole for a second, because that makes her the sub-best girl. And I'm the sub-flagship human. Because there is a flagship human somewhere on the planet is the best human ever. If they brought aliens, came down and said, who's your best guy or girl? That's them. And everybody else, everything else is sub that. So having something be a sub flagship means it's not the top. So I'm a sub flagship basketball star. Like I could play, I could throw the ball, but I'm probably ranked, how many people are on the earth? 7, 8 billion? I'm probably ranked like 6.5 billion down, only because babies literally can't play. But I'm, you know, just slightly sub flagship. I got off track. So the other thing we're missing on this is any sort of like tone adjustment. Bass, treble. I got spoiled with the Griffin. Now the Griffin is 700 and this is 300. At this price point, I think topping is coming out strong. I think they have the market cornered for like, hey, we make audio gear. It sounds fucking amazing and it's not that expensive. They got this. So if you want the more money with all the features and bells and whistles, you get the Griffin. If you want that fancy Italian design, even though it's completely Chinese, you get this. And oh, by the way, I want to just mention something, because in the review of this, and when I was talking to the people in California, SoCal Can Jam, apparently they measured this unit, right, with one of the firmwares, and it measured horribly. And the thing about measurements, and I'm going to do a whole video on this just so I could yell, is I personally don't give a fuck about them, especially on, well, here's the thing. If I was buying something that was claiming to be linear, measure it like a DAC, like this is a linear DAC, measure it, fine. This is a DAC plus amp. You can only use it as such. So if it measures poorly, but when I plug things into it, I hear literally God's beautiful voice, I don't give a fuck. But they bullied the creator of this, who's one guy apparently, so much that he had to go back and start changing shit and changing firmware to make it measure better, even though it made it sound worse and not what he envisioned. So fuck people who are complaining, because if there were people who are commenting who had never heard the unit, who are like, you shouldn't buy that, it's bad, it measures bad. Listen first. All right? Don't not buy something because it measures bad until you fucking heard it, because measurements don't tell you shit. All right, save that rage for its separate video. Anyway, back to things. What was I talking about? BTR 7, full EQ. You can get into the belly of that. This thing sounds weird on purpose, but it's really, that has no tone either, but trust me, you don't want tone. You can load firmwares. You can load firmwares in that. And then fuck the Kudelics, man. Got so much shit going on. And then there's the other one that has the equalizer. So it's amp. What does this do? Amp. DAC. Amp DAC. Done. Power? Yes. Clean? Yes. Linear? Yes. Does it sound like an A90D? A scaled down A90D? Yeah. If topping had a house sound, it'd be better than everyone else. That's what topping's house sound is. That's just what it is. It's the simplest way I could put it as a reviewer. I could tell you this is a topping unit blindfolded. If you plugged in all of these with the same source and you said, okay, what's this now? And I had a couple headphones, so I'd be able to like, God, this is clean. It just sounds, the word clean gets redefined every few years by topping. So let's unplug this now and let's switch this to Bluetooth. Let's turn you back on and get rid of your little dangle dingle dongle. And then we'll go Bluetooth. It's already connected to G5. It was like boom. Like, oh, boom. So now, check my volumes. We got Yoshi Horikawa, Vapor from the Cave, or Cave from the Vapor. Put this on. Oh. Like it's bringing out the low. I know what these headphones sound like, only because I've used them on everything. If you haven't seen me take out these in a while, they've been literally hung here and not on the wall, because I use them here to do things, and I just never take them out for reviews, and I don't know why. Probably because you can't buy them, and I don't want to make people jealous. But this sounds as good as these have ever sounded on anything, including desktop amps. So I think that qualifies the G5 to be one of the best sounding devices that's ever moved out and about. Yeah, so this is some dumb shit right here. And I want to encourage topping to keep going. Because the G5, I don't know why they started with a 5. Because it's 5 inches tall. Because it weighs 5 pounds. I don't know. But I want to see the G7. I'm assuming they'll skip a number. Because every audio company's assholes. Look at fucking Fio. How many 3s and then 5s and then 7s have they come out with? It's just like... Or Fly Audio. It's like, why not every number? What is your problem? This has been a very Zeos Z review. I had a little bit of coffee this morning. There's also a cat in the house. Swede made it into the house. It's like cold out. His brother won't come inside. It's a whole cat thing that's happening. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. And Subscribestar and allowing me to take care of fucking cats again. He better not shit down here. Swede. I was hoping he would visit for the review. He popped it over there before. Slightly flawed unit. Slightly flawed. Is it best girl? It could just easily be best girl with a bass boost, or it wouldn't even need a bass boost, but just anything to tweak the sound. There's no app, as far as I can tell via the instructions. Topping hasn't been in this game enough to have developed an app. I'm sure it'll be terrible if it do. It'll just be terrible. But yeah, no, this is... If this is your Class A fun fuck around unit, this is your topping A90D unit. And then this is literally your IFI unit with so many bells and whistles and buttons. And then the one that everyone's going to buy, because it's the BTR7 and it's small and lightweight. It's small now, but then you can get the little tiny baby ones where the IFI go blue. It's just like, no, that's enough. Like, that's enough. All right, I'm upgrading, and then you've almost gone too far. And then this is like this is a specific one you bought because Zeo said so and you agree with him. And then there's a G5, which just needs some more. Just more, but it's at the price point, I'm happy. If this was $500, it'd be whatever price. If it was $200, it'd be just everyone buy one right now. $300, it makes sense. And I want you all to stick around on this channel because... there is another. We'll get to that in another video. Wallpaper description, Patreon, Subscribestar, support this channel, and now new cats. Where are you, Sweet, you son of a bitch? Make an appearance! I've known this cat for 10 years. I knew him for 3 years before I moved out of New York. He was at my grandparents' house. And then I moved out for 7, and then my father couldn't care for him, and then I'm like, all right, I'll adopt him. And he's been in the garage, because he's like a feral cat, essentially, now. And I'm just trying to like let him in, and he won't let me love him. Get here so I can love you. Anyway, thank you for supporting me on Patreon and Subscribestar. $5 a month lets you see reviews early, participate in yard sales, and access to lossless sound demos. I have to do some more sound demos. I haven't done sound demos in like 2 months. $10 a month gets you a private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat. Don't forget to check out my second channel. Don't forget to check out the new IM channel. There's a new IM channel called In-Ear Fetish, which makes me use even more fetishy wallpapers. I don't know what it is, but that's like a good inspiration. And the $10 chat lets you chat with me directly and ask me questions, and you also get into a lifetime swap meet channel, so you can buy, sell, and trade gear. So if you have this, and you're like, I don't want that, I want this, and you can sell it and trade it, and oh, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and then we'll get to that. We're gonna get to that. I'm not even gonna say what that is, but let's just put it this way. Move the mouse. Anyway, I'm Zeospantera of Z Reviews. Thank you to all my sponsors on the other channels, or I don't know how I'm doing. I'm doing a thing with like channel sponsors now, I hope, to try to support myself because 2022 sucks. And yeah, see you all in the next one. And if you buy a G5, how do you use it? How do you use it?